Where is little Harmony Montgomery? It's a question investigators have been trying to answer since December of 2021, when they first learned she was missing. The problem is, she went missing in 2019. When investigators began their search, they first tracked down the man who had custody of Harmony, her father, Adam. But Adam was not very cooperative. In fact, he didn't necessarily even want to talk about it.
Am I under arrest?
You're not. You don't have any warrants, sir.
All right, I got nothing to say.
Adam, right? Montgomery?
Yeah.
Do you remember me from the Elliott Hospital from a while back, man?
Yeah, I got nothing to say.
So you don't care if your daughter's okay?
I do. I listen, I have nothing to say.
Is your daughter...
If I'm under arrest, you guys can arrest me.
But these very first moments when Adam is confronted and questioned by police can be very revealing, especially when they are caught on camera. Tonight, we will take a close look at the very first interview and interrogation of Adam Montgomery and bring in our body language experts to uncover what his demeanor says and what his body reveals about the mysterious disappearance of his little girl, Harmony. I'm Vinny Politan. Thank you so much for joining us tonight here on Closing Arguments. We're going to take an hour. We're going to take a close look at Harmony Montgomery's father. He's facing charges, but none of those charges are for the disappearance and now presumed death of his little girl, because it's a homicide investigation. Now, this is court TV, right? I'm a lawyer. I'm a former prosecutor. You know all that, and you know that taking the Fifth Amendment is part of our Constitution. No one has to say anything. And that is the absolute foundation of our system of justice here, is that if you're going to be accused of something, or if someone is trying to investigate you, you don't have to say anything. You don't have to prove your innocence. You don't have to cooperate. You can say absolutely nothing. And believe me, night in and night out here, when we bring in our think tank in the 9 o'clock hour, filled to the brim, usually with criminal defense attorneys, they remind me, and I acknowledge that, yeah, you have the right to remain silent. I hear it every single night on this show. That being said, let's talk about Harmony Montgomery. It's a little girl. There she is. Didn't have a chance. I mean, her life story, we're going to tell you in just a moment. But missing, okay? A little girl is missing. And that is someone's little girl. And it's Adam Montgomery's little girl. He had custody of her because mom was in rehab. He was in charge. He had physical and legal custody of Harmony. And she's missing. Now, I understand, and I've already established, that you have the right to remain silent. But sometimes your right is wrong when you're a parent, when it's your child that you are in charge of, that you are responsible for, and a child that relies upon you for everything, beginning with their safety. And when that child is no longer safe, is missing, and you're exercising your right to remain silent and not cooperate, that's wrong. That is wrong. Oh, it's constitutional, it's legal, but it's absolutely wrong. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight on this show. Now, for those of you who don't know the story of Harmony Montgomery, here it is. This is little 5-year-old Harmony Montgomery clutching her doll and smiling for the camera. When you look at this picture, everything seems very normal. Harmony seems happy and cared for. But sometimes pictures can be very deceiving because Harmony's world is anything but normal and happy. Her father has been arrested and charged with second-degree assault. The victim, his 5-year-old daughter, little Harmony. But that's not the most troubling part of Harmony's world. This picture is from 2019, and there are not any newer pictures of Harmony. The photographs of this little angel are all over 2 years old. That's because she's been missing since October or November of 2019.
Help us find this little girl. Someone knows something, do what is right, and call in. I cannot emphasize that enough. Somebody out there knows something. It's time for people to do the right thing.
According to a police affidavit, Harmony's mother, Crystal Sori, says she lost custody to Harmony's father, Adam, because she was dealing with a substance abuse problem. She says the last time she saw Harmony was a FaceTime call on Easter of 2019. Meanwhile, Harmony's father, Adam, says Crystal picked up Harmony for Thanksgiving in 2019, but Adam's girlfriend at the time says Adam told her he dropped Harmony off at Crystal's. Now, back to the assault charges. Adam's uncle claims that Adam admitted to bashing Harmony around the house and witnessing Harmony being spanked very hard, forced to stand in the corner for hours, and scrubbing the toilet with her toothbrush. So while the court system is dealing with the charges against Adam Montgomery, the chief is still looking for this beautiful little girl in the photo.
Quite frankly, enough is enough. It's a 7-year-old girl. Let's find her, all right? Let's come together as a community and do the right thing. That's all I'm asking, and I don't think I'm asking a lot. If people think that I am, then I'll leave it at that.
I want to bring in our investigators tonight. Joining me tonight in Salt Lake City, Utah, private investigator Jason Jensen is with us, and in Los Angeles, California, retired FBI Special Agent Bobby Chacon. Thank you both for joining me tonight. The big change in this case is that it went from a missing persons case to now a homicide investigation, but no one has been charged. But Jason Jensen, from my perspective, that investigation begins with Dad. He had sole custody of that little girl.
Hands down, he had the legal and the moral responsibility to care for that child. So it starts there no matter what. He has to either present the child upon demand if there's any question of her safety, or explain where he, shipped her off to, a family or a friend to babysit her. But he's not doing that. So it automatically turned all the focus on him that something happened to her, especially when there's the contradicting stories between he took her to the mother, Crystal, or that Crystal came and picked her up. So, when you have inconsistencies like that and unwillingness to cooperate, it really puts the focus on you.
Yeah, Bobby Chacon, the focus has to be on him. It has to be, and I know a lot of times people say, well, you just got focus on one single place. You got blinders on. You're not looking at. No, if you're a parent and you have a child, that is your responsibility, and you should have all the answers, and you should be doing everything you can to find her, unless you have a reason not to talk.
Well, sure. I mean, you always start with the last person the child was seen with, right? If it's an adult or a much older child, you can say they had the means to run away or go away on their own. But someone as small as Harmony here, a 7-year-old child, doesn't have the means to do that. They don't have the means to disappear. So you go to the last person they were with, in this case, the father. Obviously a long criminal record. He's not cooperating with the police. Nothing looks good for this guy. Nothing in his behavior, nothing in his background looks good. Everything points to him. But as you started this story off, then he's saying he does not have to talk. He doesn't have to provide an explanation. He can sit pat. It's always the government's burden of proof in a criminal case like this. So, I know it's frustrating for people, but the government is obligated to come up with the evidence to charge him with this crime, to put that evidence before a jury.
Absolutely. And I should remind everyone, Bobby Chacon, also an attorney as well. Now, let's do this, because we have video now, body cam video of the very first time that police talked to Adam Montgomery. He's actually in his car, because I think he's living in his car at that moment or sleeping in his car with his girlfriend. And police talked to him for the very first time since they became aware of the fact that his daughter was actually missing. So let's watch that, and I'll be interested in your reactions to what we see here. Let's take a look.
Under arrest.
No, you're not. You're not. You don't have any warrants, sir.
All right, I got nothing to say.
Adam, right? Montgomery. Yeah. I don't. Do you remember me from the Elliott Hospital from a while back, man?
Yeah, I got nothing to say.
Right. So hey, man. The only thing we're trying to figure out is where Harmony is. Okay.
Okay.
So the concern is that she hasn't seen, right?
Okay.
You're not in trouble. Nobody said you're losing your daughter. Okay. So I want to make that clear. So all you know, I have my body tomorrow, so just like everybody else is being on your video report. So you just need to find out where she is. That's all I'm concerned about. You're not in any trouble right now that I know of.
Okay.
We have no warrants.
Okay.
So where's your daughter so we can check on her to make sure that she's okay?
Right now, I have nothing to say, you guys.
But that's not what I'm just asking where
Okay,
she is.
I have nothing to say.
So you don't care if your daughter's okay or not?
I do. I listen. I have nothing to say.
Is your daughter?
If I'm under arrest, you guys can arrest me.
Okay, I'll start with you, Bobby Chacon. Your reaction to this is the very first interaction Adam Montgomery, Harmony's father, and police, after police now realize we've got a missing 5-year-old who at that point would be 7 years old.
Yeah, well, it's his first interaction with them about his daughter, but it's certainly not his first interaction with police, and you can tell that. This is a guy that's been in and out of the system. He knows his rights. He's probably consulted with half a dozen different defense attorneys during his lifetime. He knows he doesn't have to answer questions. He's calm. He just repeats that over and over again. I realize it's frustrating, but it's absolutely within his right to do what he's doing. It doesn't make him look good. To me, I think he's guilty, but he's absolutely within his rights. And to me, this tells me this is a guy that knows the system. He's been in trouble before. He's interacted with police before. He's been schooled by defense attorneys, and he's within his rights to behave this way.
You know, Jason Jensen, like I mentioned off the top, every night I'm buried by criminal defense attorneys in the 9 o'clock hour of the show. It's great to have them on, but at the end of the day, him not responding to these questions, to me, is much different when you're talking about someone's child who is missing. Like, there's a different interpretation. Like, you're investigating a murder case or so. I've got nothing to say to you guys. You're going to try to pin it on me. But here, to me, there's the difference is the layer of, I have a child. Is my child missing? Am I looking for my child? Is my child okay? Police are concerned about the well-being of my child, yet there's no concern from him as he's sleeping in the car and smoking cigarettes.
Right. I would agree with you that unlike, responding to questions about an adult, this is a child, a minor child. I think it actually creates a child neglect scenario that he could be charged for something like that if he can't produce and show evidence that his daughter is safe, and he's under legal court orders for that custody. It was assigned through the system. DYFS was responsible for all this placement in his care, so he's in contempt of the court if he can't comply to his civil orders about producing the whereabouts of the child. And in the criminal arena, if they can't prove that he's safe, certainly it opens the door to criminal problems for him next.
Yeah, and again, right, by remaining silent, it strengthens his defense if at any point he's ever charged with anything related to Harmony Montgomery being missing or dead. But by the same token, it makes us all look at it like, well, you're the dad. Like, where's your child? And the fact that every parent has that responsibility. So it's really, to me, a circumstance that is much different than the standard murder investigation, just because of the position that a parent is in. But let's watch more now, because this is December 31st of 2021, what we just watched. Then he gets picked up by police because now they want to know where is his daughter, and they bring him back to the station. So I guess this would be the first real interrogation on January 4th of 2022. Let's watch this together.
I already told you the other day what transpired. We all didn't even go to her mother's house.
Okay.
Who didn't go to her mother's house?
Harmony was on.
Okay, so Harmony didn't go to Chris's house. So explain to me how she didn't end up going to Chris's house.
I've already explained this to you.
Okay.
Well, there's some discrepancies between what you're telling us and what other people are telling us. You're saying you brought her down to Mass. Somebody said she came up from Mass.
I never once said I brought it down to Mass.
What did you say? She came up here to get her?
I never once said. I was audio and video recorded the other day. I never once said I went down to Mass.
So you're saying that she came up from Mass?
I'm not saying anything else.
Why is it that you refuse to talk about her every time we bring her up?
Because you guys are just sitting here. The other day, I told you what happened.
You wouldn't tell us the other day.
You guys talked to me the other day. I explained to him what happened the other day, and now it was just a charade. Yep. No, don't worry about. Around for the last 3 days.
Yeah, people are coming out of the woodwork. That's what we're trying to tell you. Like, we don't want you to be painted as a monster. We want you to maybe explain yourself a little bit and give us some side of your story. We have nothing. We have just what we're hearing from people. $40,000 to drag a lot of people out, whether you believe you're friends or not.
No, I bet
it's a lot of money.
Yeah, I know it is. Absolutely, it is.
That's what we're trying to get. Now's your time. Like, you keep locking up on us. You don't want to tell us anything about her.
I got nothing else to say.
All right. So he's speaking a little bit more, but again, not a ton of details. First question, though, I have Bobby Chacon. The cigarette. I mean, I don't know. Every building I go in these days, you're not allowed to smoke inside. Is that sort of a tactic during an interrogation where you're going to let someone light one up?
In this one, it was. I mean, with me, it's always been candy bars and soda, cans of soda and things like that. I mean, I don't know that they would. He actually, the detective earlier in the interrogation that didn't get shown here says like the fire alarm may go off or the sprinkler may go off if you light in there. I'm surprised they did it, but you do everything you can to keep him talking, to keep him comfortable, and to kind of make his environment as comfortable as possible. Now, I have some other problems with his interrogation. I think he invoked his right to silence on at least 3 occasions, and I've seen this whole video. And there's a suppression motion currently to suppress because he exercised or he invoked his right to remain silent, and they kept questioning him. So that's a whole nother area. But you can see clearly when he's only in custody on the gun charges, but they're questioning him about his daughter, and that's when he gets uncomfortable. That's when he shuts down, and his story's starting to unravel, and he knows it. He says, oh, we all went to grandma's house. And they're like, wait a minute. Grandma says that Harmony wasn't with you when you showed. Oh, well, I didn't say Harmony was with us when we went there. Like, so he's starting to unravel. The more he talks, the more his lies can kind of trip him up. And he knows that. This guy's a hardened criminal. This is not his first time in an interrogation room. He knows the more he talks, the more they can trip him up. And so he's trying to stop himself. Ultimately, at least three times, he's tried to stop himself from talking.
Yeah, Jason Jensen, I'll give you the final word on this.
Yeah, in that interrogation, you made 3 equivocal requests to remain silent. You know, I'm not going to say anymore. You know, this is just a charade. You're just, you know, putting words in my mouth and things like that. So that was not the way to go. I think they could have gone a different way, but, you know, it is what it is. They really should have got him talking about family first and their activities and things that they like to do. And, you know, what about Harmony? What was her favorite, you know, pet, things like that, get them talking about her. Instead, they went right for the crime, and that was really what really shut them up in just a matter of 3 minutes of their interview.
Jason Jensen, Bobby Chacon, appreciate your time tonight. Thanks so much. We'll see you again really, really soon. All right, when we come back, we're going to break down more of Adam Montgomery's statements piece by piece, but we're going to bring in some body language experts to see what exactly he's saying, not through his mouth, but through his demeanor and his body movements, his posture, all of that, plus coming up next hour. In Baltimore, Maryland, the prosecutor has declared Adnan Syed is innocent. The man who was previously convicted of murder and the subject of the Serial podcast has been exonerated. Tonight, we take a closer look at why she says he is innocent and break down what it means for justice
for the murder victim, Hae Min Lee.
As the administrator of the criminal justice system, it's my duty to ensure that justice is not delayed, justice is never denied, but justice be done. Today, justice is done.
It was a holiday parade that quickly turned tragic.
Evil has arrived and it's shown what it can do.
Darrell Brooks is accused of killing 6 people when he drove his vehicle through a crowd of spectators.
In a surprising move, Brooks waived his right to an attorney and instead will be representing himself.
Our cameras will be inside the courtroom as a community searches for justice.
The Deadly Parade Crash Trial. Live coverage weekday mornings 9/8 Central. Only on Court TV.
So that's paperwork that's saying you gotta give up custody of your kid? Harmony. No, just being served it. So you're gonna have to produce where all that, where your daughter's at. We're gonna be taking your phone.
It's not my phone.
Okay, but it's ours now. So, you know how to get a hold of me if you decide you want to come down and have a conversation with me. But I think you need to do the right thing and kind of have more of a conversation with me. So we're gonna figure this out one way or another. It's not going away. It's gonna get real big real quick, and it's not gonna be good if you get on the wrong side of it. You know what I mean? So we've gone down this road before.
Yep.
You know how to get a hold of me, all right? You're free to go.
That's Adam Montgomery with the Gucci hat on, smoking the cigarette, being served with an order to produce his daughter. This is early on in the investigation, but 2 years after she went missing. So we're taking a closer look at Adam Montgomery in the statements that he's made. And we want to do it in a different way. We want to bring in our body language experts. Let's bring them in. Joining me tonight in Londonderry, New Hampshire, former police officer and founder of Forensic Education, LLC, Michael McCutcheon is with us. And in Fayetteville, North Carolina, body language expert, senior instructor at the Body Language Institute, and the author of I Can See What Your Body Is Saying. Rodney Smith is back with us. Great to see you both. So let's do this. I'm going to play for you. Again, this is from December 31st. So this will be the first time that he speaks with police. Adam Montgomery talking to police. Let's take a look at it, and then you tell me what you see, what you hear that is significant. Let's watch.
Your ex, Crystal, I did talk to her. She's like not mad at you. She's just kind of concerned. She hasn't seen her kid. So that's why the bells must start going off and people fall off. Is the word. You know what I mean? So I don't know her that well. I know you better. I only met her once, so I don't know what type of woman, kind of woman she's crazy. When's the last time you had to talk to her?
2 years ago.
2 years ago?
Yep.
What happened 2 years ago? You guys stopped talking.
I don't even want to say nothing no more, man. I really don't.
Would you guys have like another blowout?
No.
No, I was on Florida. I need no probation.
She wanted to see her kid.
There's no probation.
What's so bad about it that you don't want her to see?
I let her see her.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Like in person or like?
Yeah.
Oh. And then it was just not a good visit?
I get nothing else to say, John. Right
well,
now.
hey, if she did something wrong, I want to know.
I can't.
All right, Michael McCutcheon, I'll begin with you. You're up there in New Hampshire. You understand the accent a little bit better than most of us, but what did you see? What did you notice?
So the first thing I noticed, and I know that Bob and Jason had mentioned this in your previous segment, of he's a career criminal. So we have to look at this a little more closely because he's schooled in being a criminal and interacting with the police. The biggest thing I noticed here is he will look at the officer while he asks the question, and then for more than 75% of the answers, he'll say, where is she? I don't know. And then he'll look away, and then he'll come back up, and he'll say, well, we're just trying to find it. He'll say, yeah, I don't know. Then he'll look back up, again, trying to avoid that. And then as he's looking, he's kind of looking like this, like he's not giving. He's kind of hiding his posture and not making that contact with the officer. That's very common of trying to deflect the information that you're saying. So almost like they can't see it if I'm not looking at you when I'm telling you.
Rodney, what are you seeing?
So kind of piggybacking off what Dr. Mike said, we do see this eye blocking, this deflection of not looking at the officer and pretty much keeping his head pointed down, which in body language, we actually see that look of shame. This is not more of an embarrassment where the head is turned to the side, exposing the neck. This head is pointed directly down at the ground. It's almost as though he's got a weight on his shoulders holding him down. And it's really hard for him to look because he knows under these circumstances that whatever act or whatever he has done is completely shameful at this point. And it's hard for him to hold his head high. We actually, like I said, with the head pointed down, this is the opposite of pride. And also, we notice that his hands are pretty much rigid in his pockets. We understand that it may be cold outside. However, most common when we talk and we want to emphasize something, we use illustrators, we use our hands. But he's pretty much in a frozen state this entire time that he's leaning against the car. And he really emphasizes what he can and can't say as he moves his head when he says, I can't say anything. I can't answer that.
Let's do this. Let's now take a look at Adam Montgomery. This is January 4th now. He's back at the police station. He's been picked up. Let's take a look and a listen.
Can you make me a promise? Like man to man? Can you tell me that she's alive?
You're gonna play the same word games that you played with me the other day?
It's not word games.
I got nothing else.
Because we care, man. We want to know.
This isn't gonna go anywhere. Like this isn't gonna stop. So
No, no, it's not.
So
So
either get on the bus now or get run over.
Well, I got nothing else to say.
Why is it you have so much trouble talking about Harmony?
Guys, I got nothing else to say. I want a lawyer with me.
Magic word, lawyer there at the end. But Rodney, how about when he's asked that important question? Tell me she's alive.
Well, the most interesting part about that entire question is he never says yes and he never says no. And then once again, the whole body language changes. We see the hands clasped. Throughout that entire interview, as I watched it, he has this wringing of his hands that he keeps. That's his pacifier. The only time that his hands are pretty much free and moving is when they actually provide him with a cigarette. And we see this wringing of the hands due to high levels of stress, anxiety, and nervousness. And actually, he kind of scoffs and does a little bit of a teeth suck at that same time, which is he's just clearly orally expressing his expression of disgust or his disapproval for even being asked that question.
All right, we've got a lot more to get to. Dr. Michael McCutcheon staying with us, Rodney Smith staying with us as well. We're going to have more from Adam Montgomery's police interview. Again, this is when the investigation just began, but it's 2 years after anyone had seen Harmony Montgomery.
% off your purchase.
You don't recall your daughter ever having a mark on her face?
The reason DCYF came out to visit you guys, you don't recall that? Why did DCYF come out and start visiting you guys? What was the allegation?
If I remember correctly, it was because of, I believe at the time, I could be wrong, I believe it had something to do with my uncle saying I was using drugs, and I wasn't.
That's the same uncle who says he saw Adam Montgomery abusing and assaulting Harmony. So we'll see. We'll see how true that is. Adam Montgomery is locked up, waiting trial on several different charges. But the big case still is, where is his daughter Harmony? What happened to her? What does he know? What doesn't he know? He was interviewed January 4th of 2021 by police. Let's bring back in Dr. Michael McCutcheon is with us, and Rodney Smith, both body language experts. Let's take a look. Again, this is more of Adam Montgomery's interview at the police station. I'll have you guys watch it and then tell me what you see that is significant in the way he is communicating.
Let's talk about why we're here to talk.
Tell me what you want to say.
Tell me what you know.
I don't know nothing.
Well, what was our conversation about the other day?
You said you had a couple questions you wanted to ask me. Ask me the questions.
Well, what was our conversation about the other day? Remember we met, I mean, you remember that was only, what, a few days ago, right? We had a lot of worried people and scared people right now in the community. I know you're worried about the well-being of your daughter, and I kind of want to get ahead of this because I don't want you to be painted as a monster.
Well, that's what you guys are already doing.
I am?
We're not doing that. Oh, yeah.
Can you explain that to me?
That's what you guys are already trying to do, man.
Explain to me how I'm trying to make you, or whoever is trying to make you out to be a monster. Who's telling you that stuff? Is there somebody that I work with that told you that? Somebody you're close with, that they told you that?
No.
All right. But you understand this whole thing is getting a little out of hand, would you agree?
Of course. But
so that's why...
Look, it's just the way you guys are going about it.
And again,
yeah, I don't not you specifically, but yeah, nobody comes out there like that for a second-degree assault charge. Nobody. Been arrested for worse charges. They don't come out and throw flashbangs at my girlfriend's car and ram us into the guardrail. They don't do that for a second-degree assault charge.
Again, you understand what the charges are, right?
Second-degree assault, right?
Yep.
Okay.
There's also an endangering the welfare charge.
Okay.
And interference with custody. Okay, so
how did I interfere with custody?
So that paperwork that we served you the other day, you remember that?
Okay.
When they were in the alleyway, remember outside of on Lake Ave?
Yeah.
There's paperwork that you have to comply with. You understand that, right? Okay. We had that conversation, did we not? Right? So that's what that's all about.
So second-degree assault charge, what is this referring to?
Well, that's what we want to talk to you about.
Well, explain to me if I'm being charged with it, what the hell am I being charged with it for?
Well, your daughter had some injuries that you know about when you lived on Guilford Street.
No, I do not. What are you referring to?
Well, you were there, I wasn't, right?
Well, what are you referring to?
I'm referring to her having some good marks.
What are you referring to?
Marks that were left on her by you.
Absolutely not. I have nothing else to say.
All right, Dr. Mike, your thoughts about Adam Montgomery and that part of the interrogation.
Rodney, I'm going to take the easy one on this. As soon as they say, you know, what about the marks? He grabs his stomach. Like he just moves, and now he's doing distracting techniques the whole time. You know, he's wiping the table off. He's got that cigarette, but man, his hands are up here, you know, and he's doing his thing. And then as soon as they say, well, the mark, he comes down like this, and he is like, oh, you got me. And then that's when he's like, hey, you know what, I have nothing to say about that. He doesn't give a denial. Again, they just said, hey, your daughter had marks on her. He doesn't say, that's not true. I never hit her. I never touched her. Nothing. Never denies it. But those hands to the belly, that just shouts, you're on the right track.
This is absolutely fascinating that, you know, I didn't think of it that way. He's never denying anything that they're throwing at him. This is amazing. Rodney Smith, your thoughts about this part of the interrogation?
Yeah, so as I'm watching it, I said to myself, how much cleaner can that table get? Because he has wiped that thing, I don't know how many times. And, you know, I wish the detective would have just taken something and cleaned that table and said, here, let me get that for you so you don't have to keep worrying about that. But as Dr. Mike said, the minute they mention that, he immediately goes to this self-hug, which he's now looking for some type of a peace, some type of comfort. He's authentically closed his body language off. You know, you could almost say that that was the gut punch because it literally folded him over. That was literally the gut blow. Throughout the whole time, he not only does he do the eye does the eye deflection, but at the same token, he tries to change the topic and then starts mentioning about no one comes out to your house and does this for a simple assault charge and so on and so forth. I think more interesting in this entire case, as Dr. Mike said, he's never denied it, but an innocent person, from my experience in the interview room, would be outraged that you would even accuse or allege them of doing something of this manner of, especially if you have not done it at all.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Rodney,
Go ahead, Dr. Mike.
If I just say, you know, Rodney, you brought up a good point about that. Right after this piece, it's very important we listen to what people say, because after this, he says, you said that she has significant injuries on her, referring to his daughter. The detectives never said that. He amplified the charges just after this interview or this segment, just like within 30 seconds after. He's like, well, you're telling me there's significant injuries on her. And that's not what he said. He said they were marked. He amplified that. So again, he's telling you what you want to know without telling you what you want to know.
All right, we're going to play a little bit more of that police station interview / interrogation of Adam Montgomery, plus coming up next hour.
In Waukesha, Wisconsin, the accused Christmas parade killer in court representing himself for the murder of 6 people, including an 8-year-old boy. Emotional testimony in court today, and tonight we are live from the courthouse with the latest.
What did we see at the end of that video?
You can take some time. A car going through the parade.
30 years ago, a person dressed as a clown, holding flowers and balloons, rang the doorbell at Marlene Warren's home. But when Marlene answered, the clown shot her to death.
Advanced DNA testing led authorities to Sheila Keene Warren. The defendant ended up marrying the victim's husband.
It's like a Lifetime movie plot.
This is going to be a riveting case.
The Killer Clown Murder Trial. Live coverage starting October 21st on Court TV.
So you, Kayla, and the 3 kids were living in the car for a few days, and then how'd you get up out of that situation? Like, who took you in, or where'd you guys end up?
We ended up going to her mom's house, Kayla's mom's house.
Okay, and what's her name?
Chris.
Chris, how's she? Well, I mean, she must be okay. She's willing to take you guys in.
Yeah, all right. They're like, all right, I you know what, man, like, I don't even want to talk anymore. Like, this is just beating around the bush, man. It just seems a little too silly to me.
Well, I'm trying to figure out who can substantiate your claims that there's, like, you're not this, like, monster or person that either DCYF made you out to be, or your family who you didn't get along with, or whoever. So that's why I'm trying to, like, let you kind of speak your piece about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I get what you're saying. I just got nothing else to say, man.
He keeps saying he has nothing to say, but he does talk, and he does also indicate some things with the way he says what he says. Still with us, our body language experts, Dr. Michael McCutcheon and Rodney Smith. Let's take a look at the last piece of that police interrogation from January 4th. Again, this is early on in this investigation, but she had been missing for 2 years. Let's watch.
You saw that reward on the news, right?
No, I did not.
Do you know that the reward is about $40,000 to find where your daughter is right now?
Okay.
When you start throwing money around like that, people come out of the woodwork that you would never expect to do.
Okay.
So, like I said, when I talked to you a few days ago...
Can I have another cigarette?
Sure. I kind of told you this thing was going to get a lot bigger.
That's not right.
And we wanted to get ahead of it.
But you're sitting there telling me that right off the rip that there was something wrong with my daughter because of me. No, that's
okay. So if your daughter had marks on her at some point when you lived over there, how would you explain those?
How would she have gotten those marks?
Well, I would love to know when the marks were there because DCYF came to my house multiple times.
Okay. And we know that they came there.
Right. And closed the case.
Okay. Do we know that DCYF is the flagship agency in the country?
No, but if there was significant marks like you're referring to, I believe they would have flagged something at that point and they would have said something. They wouldn't have came there and seen that the kids were well taken care of. All the kids loved being at the house with me.
All right, I've been reading some body language myself, Dr. Mike, and I saw when he asked for the cigarette that you reacted to that, so tell me about that.
His cigarette is his pacifier. Like, as soon as it get, and it was funny, I was reading the opening, in the body of evidence opening, it has wringing hands, and he does this the whole time. He's like this, and then as soon as it gets real, like, well, where is she? Well, really, look, what about DCYF? What about this? And then he's like, cigarette, please. That is his pacifier. That's his way of like, I need to do something. I need to express, my body's going to express that I have high anxiety now. You've increased the anxiety in this in the questioning. My body is going to start talking. And the way that I can appease that is by having that cigarette. As soon as it comes up, cigarette, please. I mean, it's textbook. It's comical. How that just jumps out at you.
Rodney Smith, as you watch Adam Montgomery in this interview, there's a conversation about DCYF, et cetera, a lot of denials from him. What did you see or hear?
Well, once again, his defense is, well, they came out. They did their investigation and everything was fine. Everything was cleared. And pretty much insinuating, why are we even having this conversation? And kind of piggybacking off Dr. Mike, he starts off in that slumped over, shameful position. But then as soon as hey, can I get a cigarette? He perks back up again. And like I said, that's his reset. That's his reboot. But he is constantly deflecting. What I found very interesting was when they started mentioning that there was a reward. People are out looking for your daughter, okay? Like it means nothing. Which I could only fathom to imagine what would happen if that were my child or one of my relatives. And, it just goes to show that people are out there looking and supporting his missing child. And he has not once even made the insinuation, well, what are we going to do to try to find her? Or he never gives any other type of answer to actually justify anything. He has an answer for everything, but it's not the answer that they are asking him the question to. And so,
sorry, Brady, go ahead. I was going to say that it's what we call a weak denial. They're like, well, what about these marks? It's not, like I said earlier, I never hit her. It's, they never found anything. They never reported it. That doesn't mean it didn't happen. It means there's no evidence or they didn't see it. And that is, it sounds like he's saying, I didn't do it. But he's not. Listen to what he's saying. He's saying they didn't find any evidence. That doesn't mean he didn't do it. He's trying to fool you, but without lying. He's just trying to be deceptive.
Almost giving that resume statement where they came out and they checked everything. And if they said everything is good to go, I don't understand why I'm here and why you guys are even questioning me.
Yeah, and the reason is your daughter is missing. And I interviewed a father once in Missouri. I'll never forget, his little daughter, Brianna, was missing. And he hadn't slept in days. He did the interview because he was doing everything he possibly could. He was on the phone while on an ATV searching the neighborhood and looking for his little girl. Mm-hmm. You see none of that from Adam Montgomery. And to me, that in and of itself speaks volumes. But at the end of the day, to charge someone, you're going to need evidence, and we'll continue to follow this case. Dr. Michael McCutcheon, Rodney Smith, awesome as always. Thank you so much for your time.
Great.
We know it's valuable.
Thank you.
We'll see you again really, really soon.
Thanks, Vinny.